We went over strong and weak questions, and one thing that made a question weak was when someone used a word like he or she or they. Can someone tell me why that question was weak? Someone used he or she or they. Yeah.
Because they're not specific enough, and you could assume that it can be whatever.
Yeah. Okay, so what would be better than he or she or they? Yeah.
Use the names and describe the person.
Yeah, use the name and describe the person. So I want you to take a look down at your questions. Just make sure that you do not have pronouns, he, she, they. Make sure your questions are specific. Okay? Just take a look down at your questions. Make sure your characters' names are in there. Make sure that they are specific. I see some people crossing out they and putting in characters' names, or he and putting in Jonas. Okay. And does anybody remember the other thing that made a really strong question that we were talking about yesterday? Not just specific, but when a question leads to what? Does anybody remember?
Discussion.
To what?
Like an interesting discussion.
To an interesting discussion, right? So I want you to just glance down at your questions. You should have hopefully thought about this yesterday when we were writing them. But just glance down. We want our questions to lead to an interesting discussion. Okay, and then can I have you slant over here? When I was listening yesterday and the day before, I actually pulled out some academic language people are using all the time. So can I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 quick volunteers to just read? Fernando, the first one. Jackie, the second one. Richie, the third one. Cristobal, the fourth one. Alexis, fifth. Armando, sixth. Go ahead.
It occurred to me. I noticed that. I found it interesting.
Based on the evidence in the sentences.
An example of this is
Right, and you guys are using these all the time, and so I feel really proud because I feel like you're citing evidence with these sentence starters, and instead of just saying in my opinion or I think, you're saying things like it occurred to me, or I noticed that, or I found it interesting that. Okay, so I wanted to pull these out and put these up here so that you can notice what everybody else is doing. If you're not using these, you can look up here and use them today. Okay? All right. So I already see some people putting initials on the academic language tracker. Can you make sure you're doing that right now? So put your initials in the first box. Thank you to the people who are already doing this. Put your initials here. Okay, and then the initials of everybody else. No, you're good. You can just put these back. All right. Okay. So number ones today, you're back in charge of the recorders. So number ones, make sure you have the recorders in front of you. Okay, you can turn them on and go to folder number 10. Okay, number ones. That means number twos, you're in charge of academic language. So number two is what kind of language should you be listening for? Or what kind of language should you not be listening for?
it occurred to me.
Okay, yeah, it occurred to me. I noticed that.
He, she.
Okay. Can you raise the elaborator card in the air if you're the elaborator? Raise the elaborator card if you're the elaborator. Okay, table 4, do you have an elaborator? Okay, excellent. Elaborators, remember, oh, it's covered. But remember we wrote this sentence starter on the board yesterday. Okay, who can read that for me? The one that we read, yeah, go ahead.
How would you respond to
Yeah, how would you respond to that? Elaborators, when should you use that sentence frame? Can someone raise a hand and tell me when you would use that sentence frame?
if somebody's doing nothing?
Okay, when we want someone to take their turn because maybe they're daydreaming or something like that, okay? So elaborators, don't forget that you have that one also. How would you respond to that? Plus everything you have on your card. Okay. All right, number ones, you can press record and ask your first question. Go ahead.
Do you think that people in the community feel comfortable being given a stranger whom they will spend the rest of their life with?
It occurred to me that maybe in the beginning it will feel awkward, but since they're saying that they're like the couple in a match, probably it won't be like that weird and awkward because you're gonna have like a partner that has mostly the same things you like. It's the same.
I would guess that like they will arrange like a meeting to get to know each other. So like of course, like Giselle said, they would feel awkward at first, but then eventually they would just wouldn't care and pretend like they chose each other.
I found it interesting that you said that they might feel awkward at first, and that's the way I see it too. But I also noticed that, and I started thinking to myself, well, they really don't have a choice, because if they try to do something, they'll just get released, and so I think that they just have to go along with it.
Why do you think babies are labeled inadequate if the babies don't wait well?
In my opinion, I guess that
You understand it?
yeah, I understand it. Well, this it's kind of hard to explain, but well, maybe they just want everyone to be perfect, and then the community probably won't think that there will be a healthy weight, and they just will release them so they don't have any problems later on.
Well, yeah, and in my opinion, I also agree with David, and I think that they do it just because they want everything measured, and they feel like if someone doesn't reach what they want, then they're not good enough.
Well, I see it the same way as Jolie. In my opinion, I would like to add that maybe like they want the community to be perfect, but it's kind of mean because you know how they say that they don't judge, and then that happens. But yeah, I think I agree.
How do you think the community will be different if parents chose their partner?
Well, it occurred to me that maybe there will be a lot more divorces and stuff, and people splitting up, because in our community, when people choose their partners, most of the time they end up splitting up because they thought they were perfect for each other, but in reality they weren't. And so I think that will happen, and it wouldn't be as different from our community.
I was still the same way as Jolie. And I like to add that maybe there will be like a lot of jealousy, cheating, because like you said, in a community that happens, and there will be maybe a possibility, and there will be a lot of divorces and arguments.
And when you're saying them, who do you mean?
Like the little kids.
Okay. Do you want to be more specific in your question then?
What do you think the elders give like the little kids a jacket instead of something else, like to put their like they're older but to have it?
Does that make more sense?
Well, I think that maybe that's where like at the age of 12, I think that's what they were assigned to. Like that might be their job. Like the birth mothers, like they got that assignment at the age of 12.
I think, he's talking about when they're 8, like when Lily's 8, she gets a jacket that's different than when she was little. Does anybody remember that part?
With the front buttons in the front, so they can like do it themselves.
Pocket for like to like responsible. She could carry belongings, be responsible.
And so when you're asking why do they give them a jacket, what do you mean?
Like to prove it they're old enough to have them, like a jacket.
Okay. So are you asking like is there something else that could prove that too?
Yeah, like maybe like something that is worth more than
Oh, so it's more like why do they give them a jacket?
yeah, that's something else.
Ooh, and that's actually what you wrote exactly, huh? Does that make sense? Now it makes more sense to me too. Why do you think they give them a jacket with the buttons in the front instead of something else to show that they're old and responsible?
Well, I think that they give them that to show that they are like responsible enough to take care of their own stuff, and also because like I guess they deserve something for their birthday, right? Because it's like the ceremony for their birthday.
I think they only give them a jacket because, like, if they give them something more, then probably they'll just, like, it might be too much for them, or it might be too little for them. So that might be a problem too.
Yeah, and I also think that if the jackets are just to show their age, like, it's something that people can just see, like by looking at you while you're wearing it. So since Lily has a jacket with a pocket, people know she's 8 because they got the pocket. Yeah. Go.
Care anymore?
Well, I think they give them, like, I don't think they should give them that. I think they should give them, like, something else that is worth more than that. Like, maybe, like, something that, like, glass or something like that. Something that is important, like, older. It's being passed by generations.
It means that he's singled out and everything.
Or bike. My question is, what do you think Jonas's role is going to be?
I think that maybe Jonas's role might be, well, since his father is a caretaker, and he's probably the one that is the one that punishes people for the rules, I think that maybe it'll be something, an engineer or something like that, or someone that takes care of the elderly or nurturer, probably. Because his father's mostly a nurturer, and most of the time one time he spent time with the elderly, and he said that he really liked it there, so I probably think that would probably be more of the job that he would want.
Yeah, I agree with you because like the community observes the people to know what they're best at. So since they see that Jonas likes to take care of the people around the community, they're gonna give that as a job.
Get attached to the baby and then learn how to take care of the baby. So he might become a nurturer.
Can you repeat your question, please?
Do you think Jonas is worried about what assignment he's going to get?
I think so, since like every person like has different like sense of like they like they have a different like everybody like I bet everybody's had their different types of quests, and like everybody gets nervous of a type of quest they have. I think he will because he's human, and they all have kinds of quests.
I think that Jonas like doesn't care because like AJ said that he's not good at anything. Like, so maybe he's gonna get the same job as his dad is.
I think he is worried because, like, everybody has different capabilities and he hasn't found what he's good at. So yeah, that's what I think.
Can you give us an example?
Like when he said that he like when he said that he wasn't good at anything, that he didn't know what kind of assignment he was gonna get, and when the dad like explained how he knew he was gonna get unsure.
Okay. Do you think when they get released from Jonas's community, they go to a different community? Do you think when people from Jonas's community get released, they go to a different community?
I think so, since like they say that they're not perfect. In their city, they want it to be perfect. They're gonna take away all the people that are not perfect out of the city, and they go to their city. Since in their city, they want all the people to be perfect.
Can you give us an example of somebody getting released?
And like in the story, it said that there was the babies that weren't inadequate. So that means that they weren't perfect. So that's why they had to throw them away. They had to like release them, like throw them away or something, because they weren't perfect. And the ones that weren't inadequate, they would leave them there because they weren't perfect. They were perfect.
Finish up your last guys. Okay, excellent job. Can you, the person who kept track of academic language, can you just tell the other people in your group okay, what you heard. If you didn't mark, because I know people were really into their discussions, maybe you weren't marking. If you could just talk about some of the sentence frames that you heard, if people used any of these or any other ones, okay, the person who was in charge of that, number 2, why don't you just give the person their number or talk about what you heard. Okay, talk about what you heard.
I heard according to the text. I heard.
You heard 3?
You
That was it?
got 3. You got 3.
Nothing higher than that? You heard. So all of us said to me?
Some things I heard from sentence starters was according to the text. Myself, something a little different.
I heard it occurred to me.
All right.
I heard. I think, in my opinion.
Okay, can I have a couple of people share what they heard today? Can I have a couple of people share? Yeah.
According to the text.
Ooh, did I have that up there? No. Nice. Okay, what else did you hear? Yeah.
In the text.
In the text it said. That means that people are citing evidence, which is great. What else did you hear? Yeah. Oh, you heard some vocabulary words. What? Oh, you used a vocabulary word. What did you use, Richie? Distinctive? Yeah. Okay, excellent. What does that mean? What does distinctive mean?
Oh, it means it's something that the person has special that what others don't.
Yeah, and what do we know about people that are distinctive in this society? Or different. What do we know about people who are different or unique? They don't fit in. Yami, you want to add?
No, I was going to say they get it.
Okay, yeah.